Welcome back to part 2 of how to create effective Instagram and Facebook ads that will lead the right audience to your Facebook profile. In the previous video, I talked about how to create a basic ad, and now I'm going to show you a really cool trick that I learned on how to use Cyanite and Chartmetric to find your ideal target audience. Check this out. Share my screen. So we were here before this. Now, here's something interesting. You remember Cyanite? I already made a video about Cyanite before. It's a very, very cool service. You can upload your song for analysis, and then it gives you, metadata like the genres and the moods and all these things. And it's very, very good for Spotify playlist submission. But you also have this option right here. So for every song you upload, you have the option here of clicking similarity. So let's try to click on similarity for this track. What this does is it actually scans a lot of different tracks that they have on the database and on Spotify, and it shows you artists that, according to their AI algorithm, sound like you. Crazy. Just mathematically sounds like you. Now, in the beginning, I thought, this is not going to work. And of course, not all of them really sound similar, but this is where you need to do a little bit of work. Have a listen to all these artists. See if any of them are nice. If any of them sound similar to you. And once you found a couple of artists right here, this is where it gets interesting. So what I would say is go to Spotify and check their following. A lot of times when people are thinking about what's my target audience, people are thinking, well, I play psychedelic rock, so I want to have the same target audience of Pink Floyd, or I am a very good female vocalist, I want to have the target audience of Adele or Billie Eilish. Well, that would be really nice if you could go from here to there, but the music industry is a very, very tall tower with 1,000 stories. You're on level 1. Adele and Pink Floyd are on the top floor. And you can't just jump from floor 1 to the top floor. You need to go to second floor, third floor. So this trick allows you to find bands and artists that are actually a couple of floors above you. So what do I mean by this? First of all, have a listen here to artists that are similar to you. Once you've found a couple of artists that are similar to you, open their Spotify profile. Have a listen to them, and also just check out how many followers they have, how many monthly listeners, and don't go for big artists. If you see that someone has 100K listeners a month, maybe that's a bit too much to start with. Smaller is better. And this is also something that I recommend if you still are not convinced and you want to do playlist promotion, go for smaller playlists. Always start small. Remember, go up each floor at its own time. So once you find an artist who is doing better than you but is not huge, that's a good artist to analyze. So think about it. If you find these artists, and they're they've got 20,000 followers a month, 20,000 listeners a month, maybe 10,000 listeners a month. Those are good numbers. Even 5,000 listeners a month is a lot. It would be really cool if you could get their demographics, right? If you could see which cities are listening to them, which age groups are listening to them, so that you can go back to your ad and insert that in this part of the ad. And good news, you can actually do this with Chartmetric. So look, you need to have a premium account for this, by the way. So if you go to Chartmetric and you look for an artist with an artist account or with a free account, you're going to see some data, but here, if you click on audience, they're not going to let you click on audience. So you're not going to be able to see who's listening to these artists. So I found these two artists here with Cyanite. After listening to a lot of different artists, I found that these two artists sound really, really similar to the artist I'm trying to promote here, Ramshackle Glory and Don Schultz. And this is unpaid promotion for both of them. I don't know who they are, and I just know that they sound cool and they sound very, very similar to the artist that I'm trying to promote. So I needed a premium Chartmetric account for this. Of course, with the free one, you can't say anything. So look, it's really easy. Once you found the artists that sound similar to you, just go to audience. For example, for Ramshackle Glory, click on audience, and here you go. It just shows you. This is the amount of the total audience. You can also see this on Facebook, but on Spotify. Sorry, but look here. These are the cities where people are listening to this band. This is the age groups, 18 to 24, 25 to 34, and this is the main gender, so it's mostly male. Very good, because I can actually use this information right here. You see, I can put these cities right here. I can put the age group right here. I can even change the gender to male, because they're like almost 80% male. Good to know. So what I would recommend you to do is don't just copy something from one artist. Analyze as many artists as you can that you find on Cyanite that are similar to you, and then see what they have in common. So I'm taking 2 artists right now to compare, but you should do this with at least 5-6 artists. So let's see who's listening to Don Schiltz, which cities. So I'm going to go to audience here. And right here, you see, here are the cities. Now, this guy is probably Australian, so his top 3 cities are Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. But look, there are 2 cities here that actually appear in Ramshackle Glory. Look, we have, right here, we have Seattle and Chicago. And look, if I go also to Ramshackle Glory, I have Seattle and Chicago right here. So I found 2 cities that both of these artists have in common. Imagine if I could find some cities that 6 artists have in common, or if I could find the age group that 6 artists have in common. You're noticing also, by the way, that here Chartmetric is only showing me the cities. It's not showing me other demographics. So try to get as much information as you can and try to like cross-check, see what these artists have in common. And once you have this information, it's easy. Just go to your new ad, feed it here, and I promise you, your ad is going to be much more effective than just trying random cities based on where you think your listeners should be. So I hope you find this useful and that you're now able to create better Facebook and Instagram ads that will lead your audience to Spotify.